aspirations for this plant transcend what is here in an immediately short-term planned future. And I want to therefore look at finding a long-term solution to the labor constraint.
Hiring difficulties at rural auto plants. The USPS is going greener, and your next Amazon package could be delivered by an EV. Good morning, I'm Kristen Strakalaitis. Welcome to First Shift. More on those stories coming up, but first, 40 people at Stellantis' Warren, Michigan stamping plant are now out of a job. They are being laid off indefinitely beginning today. A spokesperson for the company says the layoffs are to operate the plant in a more sustainable manner. This is the second round of layoffs in as many months. In June, Stellantis cut an undisclosed number of jobs at its stamping plant in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Amazon has received its first batch of Rivian electric delivery vans. The road-ready EDV was unveiled in Chicago. The rollout is the beginning of what is expected to be thousands of EDVs in hundreds of cities by the end of the year. Amazon was an early investor in Rivian. The vans for Amazon's fleet will come in different sizes based on cargo capacity. Meanwhile, the U.S. Postal Service is planning to double its EV purchases. It plans to buy at least 25,000 next-gen electric delivery vehicles from Oshkosh Defense. The USPS also plans to buy close to 35,000 commercial off-the-shelf delivery vehicles over 2 years. The move is to replace its aging fleet of vans in a more environmentally friendly way. In April, 4 environmental groups and the UAW sued to block the Postal Service from buying mostly gas-powered vehicles. Rural auto plants in the country, like many businesses, are having a hard time finding workers, so they are getting creative in their hiring practices. I recently visited 2 such plants to find out how they are solving the problem. It's a decades-old way of life. Assembly plant employees traveling 50 or more miles to work. That's because many automobile manufacturers built their plants in geographically isolated parts of the Southeast and Midwest, like Volkswagen in Chattanooga and Toyota in Indiana. They did so because land was cheap and plentiful, and they knew workers would make the long drive for good-paying, steady jobs. But now it's much harder for automakers to find enough workers willing to make that long trek. High gas prices, low unemployment, the pandemic, and changing demographics are to blame. So the companies are getting creative. In Tennessee, Volkswagen's chief operating officer hopes that providing transportation will help.
So for the first time, we cast our net a bit wider. And so for some of the outlying towns around here, Cleveland, Delton, and so on, we have actually even set up busing services to bring folks in. The extent to which those were utilized remains to be seen. I don't know yet exactly how many of the 1,600 people will be coming from those areas, but it's a first for us.
The plant has upped starting wages from $14.50 when the plant opened in 2011 to $21.50 an hour today. Meanwhile, in Indiana, the president of Toyota's plant there says they too have boosted starting wages as they try to fill more than 1,400 open positions by the end of the year.
So of course we've had to increase our starting wage. We've increased our hiring bonus. When you get on, if you're here for 6 months, you get a certain amount of money. If you're here for a year, you get a certain amount of money. And then we've also increased our top end wage. So we've had to be very competitive. And for Toyota, we always want to be competitive within our community and within the auto market.
And Toyota says they'll help potential employees move there depending on how far away they live.
We're offering relocation packages for our production and our skilled team members. So if they're over 75 miles away, if they move within 45 miles of the plant, we offer them a relocation package. So we've had at least 150 people take advantage of that program.
It's crucial for automakers and nearby suppliers to solve their labor shortages. Supply chain shortages won't last forever. So when microchips and other parts start flowing again in great numbers, workers will be needed to get the assembly and component plants back up to full speed. Despite not having enough workers, creative recruiting efforts are beginning to pay off.
It's been very challenging, as you know. We're probably about 80 behind where I really want to be right now. But we continue to see more and more progress with the amount of members that are applying and how many we can get through the pipelines.
You can read an in-depth version of this story by reporter Larry Velquet on autonews.com. Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to autonews.com for more news, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @first_shift. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.